Hey everyone, welcome to Season 10 of Myopia Movies. This week, we have decided to go back in time a bit. We used to start every season with a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, but of course it's been years since we did the original run. However, we've decided to hit that pool again because for the entire rest of the month, we're going to be revisiting some classic episodes. Not re-releasing them, but re-recording new versions of that same first 100 episode as you have chosen. So, a few other... I guess there's nothing really new. We're still back. Now, thank you for tuning in, as you always have. Thanks for doing all you do to make us popular. But please, it's our 10th season. We're trying to go all out. So, do us a favor. If you haven't done so yet, please share us. Please review us. Please try your best to get new viewers to us. And if you can prove you do, we'll do a little raffle and maybe let you choose one of the movies we'll do later this season. Thanks for all you do to keep us around, keep us on the charts, and make us the podcast we are. Thanks. 1, 2, 3. Welcome to Myopia Movies. We are recording right now the season opener for our 10th season, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
And after 400 some odd episodes, Matt, fan of the show, had the brilliant idea, since our first episode was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and our first episode of season 2 was the second one, and our first episode of season 3 was the third one. Why don't we go back to the well and do another Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie? So in honor of our 10th season, we are doing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, or Tmnt 2007, Nickelodeon's own CGI nonsense. I'm your host, Nick Hoffman, and on panel we have
Candace, also a riffer on Cineprov, host of the Rocky Horror Picture Show at the Plaza Theater every Friday night. And of course, you can find me Monday nights hosting Geek Themed Trivia at Felix's Bar. I'm the topless one.
So this is all in Atlanta for those of you in Germany listening.
They can come from Germany for boobies. I mean, I know Germany has its own boobies, but, you know.
Metric boobies.
Boobies in the metric system.
Hi.
And I'm Atlanta author Matthew W. Quinn. My new book, Serpent Sword, has mutants in it, but they are not friendly. They don't eat pizza.
And Matt does not have boobies.
And they would be in the American system.
That's right. Definitely.
I measure in imperial units.
Is that an A cup?
Imperial unit from now on.
That's his OnlyFans account.
That's right.
Nice. I'm Keiko, and I was really sad as a kid because the only thing I could find with my name on it had pictures of Free Willy the whale. And I do have boobies.
Yay!
And I'm Lauren, and I too enjoy being a turtle, like Raphael talks about in this movie. And
I thought you were gonna say, and I also have boobies. I was waiting for you to carry off the joke, and then you were like, I also am a turtle, and I was like, oh damn, didn't see that one coming.
Which turtle would you be?
so, true story. When I was in school, I was friends with a lot of guys. I still have a lot of guy friends to this day, because let's face it, guys are less drama.
True.
But we would play Ninja Turtles, and they would always make me be April O'Neil because I was the girl, and I'd be like, no, I'm gonna be Michelangelo. Michelangelo was always my favorite, and whoever says different is lying. Michelangelo was the best.
Truth.
I'm Leonardo because I'm the podcast host.
There you go.
Which means I'm the loser. Leonardo's kind of the loser in all of this.
No, they would always make me be April O'Neil, who I love her too, but I was like, no, I'm going to be Michelangelo. Yeah, right. Again, always because
you were the only one in the group with a romper. That's really the reason.
I mean, and I appreciate here that she has kind of a figure, if only that in the 80s television show, it looked like she was wearing a parachute that they cinched together with
I thought that was cute. I know, that was a great look.
It was a scene for 1987.
It was.
By the way, just you saying that, I want to play the old arcade game.
Yeah.
I love that thing. Like, it's just...
They have it at Joysticks Game Bar on Edgewood.
Plug it, because
it's 25 cents, baby.
It's good.
There you go.
my daughter, when she wants free time and it's a crappy day, we've been going to Dave & Buster.
Nice.
Those old, like the fighting games aren't the same, man. I like the old side-scrolling nonsense. It's a blast.
Well, during the afternoon, joysticks is all ages.
Oh, there you go.
They are. Yeah, they're fun.
That part of town I know well. I went to college near there. It's a fun place to just stumble upon. You know, it's like,
it is.
There's magic here.
There is magic there.
It's funny. My kids have gotten to escape rooms, which is really cool. Like, it's really fun. But for like a 6 and a 4-year-old, it's a little bit frustrating because they're not quite ready for it, but they love it. So that's what we do.
I get that with you. It's just the fact that it's a Minecraft world, baby. We gotta get them doing stuff that's a little bit more abstract. Anyway, so we're here to talk about. I believe this came from Nickelodeon Studios. This was a Nickelodeon TV show, and then they kind of, they wanted to rejigger it, remake it so that the movie would be a transition point to another season. And by the way, I insist that we continue Matt's logic so that we start next season perhaps with the 2014 Michael Bay nonsense. But we'll get there when we get there, because that talks about Eternal getting an erection when he sees April O'Neil, and that can be the entire show.
Wow.
Dude, she's making my shell tighter. That's a line from the trailer, I think. And I'm not okay with that.
And at one point they had Megan Fox jumping on a trampoline.
This was Nickelodeon Studios, you're right. But did you notice that it said Weinstein Company? Anybody else?
Yeah, I saw that.
I was
We did a Weinstein one earlier, and I was like, oof. Oh boy, that's
he's in jail
shocker.
and they're making him jump on a trampoline.
That's true.
Hopefully it was his brother and not the other one.
That's my question, is do we know?
He gets the kids in the scene.
I'm just wondering. Anyway.
Yeah, no.
It just flashed across several times, Weinstein Company. I was like, ooh, okay.
So I imagine as, full-grown adults who can drive and buy eggs on their own, this is the first time any of us have seen any of this, right? Mm-hmm. None of us knew the show. None of us knew the movie.
I had already watched it.
It came out when I was in college, but that was my senior year, and I was probably very busy.
I signed up for this. Exactly. I signed up for this podcast when I thought we were doing the live action one. And then when you sent the direct message that said because it said 7 next to it, and I was like, 7? What does that mean? And that's when I screenshotted the picture, and I was like, do you mean this one?
So
the anime one?
This is not
This is TMNT. This is a whole nother gen, and I was not ready for this. I had not watched it prior to this morning.
A Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles version of 7. What's in the box, Master Splinter? Exactly. What's in the box?
Yeah.
To be fair, there are so many movies and versions of this.
A lot.
Like, just Googling stuff, I was like, my goodness, I did not realize how many.
The canon is deep.
A turtle fan, like a Ninja Turtle fan.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Steve.
Turtle heads? No, probably not.
Like Jimmy Buffett rejects. They're like, yes, we have our pizza day. So I only mentioned that because I'm going in cold. So if the bunch of this stuff is referenced to the show, you got me swinging. Which is fine. That's the name of the game here. We're here to react to media, and if you put something in theaters, you've got to expect people who have no idea what you're talking about.
So wait, are you saying you are not familiar with the original animated series?
No, I'm not familiar with the animated series this 2007 movie was
based on. Okay.
And the original show I've seen every episode.
I think this is supposed to take place after the 3rd movie.
It is. That is correct.
It is.
Oh, after the 3rd.
And cinematic live music, and you know that, and it's established in that. At the end of this movie, this is not a spoiler for those of you watching. There is a shelf that Splinter places like items that are important to him on, and actually on the right hand side, you can see the samurai armor from the 3rd Turtles Out of Time,
which is nice.
It is.
It's from other movies, and also Raphael always says. That's why I also said it. He always says, "Man, I love being a turtle." That's how they always end it.
It does.
That's true.
So, for those of you who don't
Turtle
know...
Pride. Turtle Pride Month.
So I think those are, to answer your point, Nick, I think those are the references. I think those are really the only references from before. So
Well, the only other thing I can think
Too-
of is
too
I
lost.
imagine the lady who's in charge of the Foot Clan now might have a backstory in the TV show. And the fact that, I don't know, Casey Jones looks like a rejected butthead holster, or he looks like one of the crash test dummies from that TV show with like the face of Mac Tonight. I'm just making this exactly for someone like
Was this?
Karai, the foot leader, was in the original show.
Correct.
in
And
the 80s show she was.
Yeah.
But like the fact that Shredder is dead and she's in charge must have happened at some point in the animated show that we are talking about. I would assume. Because here it's just associated with the fact that we know it. Now, Nickelodeon had done that a lot because there's an animated Avatar movie, not the M. Night Shyamalan one, but the other one.
yeah.
Which stay tuned.
Okay, so I'm pretty good at voices. Like it's a little trick.
It was Super
trick I
Mario.
have. Yeah, and of recognizing voices. And the second Splinter opened his mouth, I was like, "That's Mako. That is Mako from Avatar: The Last Airbender."
And previous episode, Conan the Barbarian.
I know that voice. I love that voice. He's amazing. So I was very happy that he was in this. And the other one that I was like, that's Sarah Michelle Gellar.
And she does a great job.
Yeah.
Boy, she
That's April.
does. That's my princess.
This was also Mako's
Is
last
that your
movie.
crush?
I'll
Is
get
that
you
your
a
crush?
joke. No, I mean, I something I don't like that Disney and Pixar do a lot is stunt casting. You know, like even the new Mario Brothers movie, Chris Pratt does not need to play Mario. A kid is not going to show up to see Chris Pratt as Mario. And so I'm very aware of voice casting, like you said. And so the fact is, most of these people are not unknowns, but if you know voice actors, you know them. And they do a better job for it. And I'm sure it's half the price than if they stunt cast it. Because even Sarah Michelle, I think, was in the show as the voice character.
Yeah.
Because she nails it. She does a good job. So credit
And
there.
Chris Evans was Casey.
Correct.
Yep.
Yeah. And actually, Mako was announced as the voice of Splinter at San Diego Comic-Con the day before he died.
This was his last
This was his last
movie.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was his last movie.
And fortunately, he had finished the majority of all the stuff that they used, and then the very, very little bits they didn't have, they piecemealed it together.
Interesting.
Yeah. Oh my God, did I teach you something?
I didn't look up anything about it.
You always teach us.
So this was like 2007.
Yes.
And we sort of talked
Very good
briefly
year.
before. Yeah, like 2007, I was graduating high school.
Oh,
That was
oh my God, you're so young.
But I was wondering if this was around the same time frame as like the Star Wars TV show was like high in popularity, because it was like, I mean, this appeals to adults. Like this wasn't just like a kid's, you know.
So yeah, the Clone Wars was
I don't know if it
out.
was
The
the
Clone
Clone
Wars
Wars or
animated
what.
series was out during this time. It was being animated between 2006 2007.
Right.
It started in 2008 on television, and there's a distinct animation similarity
Yeah,
style
it felt very reminiscent of that.
between the two properties. Yes.
So there's, I mean, Barbie's about to come out. It's got a very Barbie, like everyone's completely smooth feel to it. And well, you mentioned boobs. You wanted to talk about earlier. But the figures have a very like specific, like we are dolls and emotions.
Yeah, well, what they wanted is for Star Wars in particular, George Lucas had asked Dave Filoni when he was going to do the animated Clone Wars, he said, I want them to almost appear like marionettes. So they have a very marionette quality about them in the way that they bend and move and the proportions and how like stick thin the extremities are. I'm not saying everyone on the show might be a type 1 diabetic, but I have concerns for them. And so it's just one of those things that like, that animation style is fantastic. Also the negative imprinting that they did, which mimics also same year, 2007, 300 came out. And if you notice, there are several dark scenes or still shot scenes that have this very like Xerxes kind of vibe to them. And this followed right after Kill Bill, which again, it is very clear who was, not only who their target audience was, but who the animators are. These are young animators watching these popular films, and they're like, "Hey, I'm gonna bring this into my animation style."
So everyone has an 8-pack.
Well, no, but that scene specifically at the end when they're on that road, that bridge, that's a scene 100%.
It is. I mean, dragging the katana like across the ground, and then they meet together. I mean, it is classic. Just so good, so good.
I mean, there needs to be a line if there wasn't, but like where April shows up in that fetish outfit. When she shows up dressed like Nameless.
I got this on my last trip to Japan.
And she's got the
She's like,
you like it?
Yeah, it's nice.
And she's like,
If only I had cat ears.
and then Leo sees her and he goes, "You got your katanas, huh?" And they share a knowing wink. And then you're like, "Yeah, that's what's going on here."
Yeah.
So, who wants to give us the plot? Ladies. I mean, I could do it. Okay, so, smash cut to 7.5 straight minutes of exposition about nonsense. Someone opens a portal and there's demons. And that, literally just goes and goes and goes.
Again, the opening monologuing is very Avatar-esque.
Yeah,
And
it is.
I'm going to give you the entire history
Of the world.
of 3,000 years of history of all this stuff. And I like how it keeps building on stuff. It's like, first it was a general and he wanted to live forever. And you're like, oh shit, okay, that's the story. It's like, but then he turned everyone to stone. You're like, oh my God. You're like, and then, monsters. There's monsters too. Monsters show up.
And monsters
And
came out.
13 of them. You're like, okay, Jim, I think we're going to out of control.
came back.
I know. It's just like, it becomes increasingly like everybody in the writer's room was like, listen, I have this one plot point that I feel really passionate about, Steve. I have to get this in here.
And
he's like,
yes.
Let's do it. He's like, yeah, we got it in the budget. Let's do it. Yeah.
And then April O'Neil's boss, Wayne Bruce, is going to collect them all
Yes.
and try to save the day.
Yes. They're like Pokemon.
That's right. Okay.
Because April O'Neil must have accepted a contract buyout from the newspaper industry and is now working in shipping.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta tell you,
Imagine someone being a
I want to know what is the online classes that I need to take to go from journalism to like archaeologist.
Well, actually,
Is that like something I can just 13 months and I can get my degree? I just need to know.
So I have not watched the Michael Bay movies. Does she work for BuzzFeed? Is she a blogger in the new world? Because the idea that she'd be like, I work for the New York.
She's an influencer.
She's an. I have an Instagram. And so essentially, Leo's been sent away to learn how to be a leader. I assume that's a bleed over from the TV show. I don't know.
Yeah.
But he's dealing with he's doing the Schwarzenegger Fubar thing. There's a drug kingpin he's taking down in this small Latin American town.
Yes.
Well, the brothers are all separated. I think that's
yeah.
They're not separated. 3 of them live together. One is the combat man, literally the Dark Knight. And Leonardo is on a spring break move. Let's go.
The spring break involves
distant.
the kind of spring break involves killing drug lords.
So they show the 4 brothers what each they're doing, and I actually love that part. I enjoyed that. I thought that was cute because Donatello is an IT tech.
It's not that kind of line.
Yeah. Did you turn the computer on? Yes, that might help. And that was cute. And Michelangelo is doing birthday parties.
This is where I said it's Ghostbusters 2 when we were just chatting. This is what it is. They've saved the day. There's no one left. So he's doing kids' birthday parties. And by kids' birthday parties, he's just putting on a giant turtle head.
His body's the same.
Yeah. All I could think of when they were beating him was He-Man, He-Man, He-Man.
Because they're just kicking the shit out of this poor guy.
Yeah.
He's like, beat somebody, dude. And you're just like, all right, Keanu, calm down.
I love it.
And meanwhile, Raphael has just turned into who he always is in these movies, which is an unbridled asshole.
Yes.
He is the most unlikable character in all.
Such a temper.
In the first one, they leave him in a wheelbarrow for a half an hour because he gets the crap kicked out of him. That's true.
But then he gets to lay in a bathtub for another
he
half
gets
an
to go
hour.
in the bathtub.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Well, because we drew him in the bathtub. As if I was in the movie. He drew him in the bathtub.
Maybe like one of your French turtles.
Just a bowl of soup.
Oh, God.
Oh, nice.
Shredder finally got that turtle soup he always
That
wanted.
would be a New Orleans turtle.
So the rest of this movie is Wade Bruce is trying to collect all of the demons in these like hyperbaric chambers so that he can send them back to hell.
Is that literally his name, or are you making a joke?
No, he's Bruce Wayne from Batman.
Right. Okay.
I couldn't be bothered with his name.
Got it.
I think it was Mr. Waters.
No, Mr. Winters.
Mr. Winters.
Because like he falls, Michelangelo goes, he's more like a fall than a winter.
No.
And then he
Patrick
waits
Stewart
for all
is
the
the
laughs.
voice of Mr. Winters, by the way.
Wow.
That's Patrick Stewart.
Sir Patrick
At least he got a paycheck.
Yeah. I'm just saying.
You know, when the kids really want to take another trip to Peru, so I don't know.
Oh, Mr. Data, the cost of this garage is prohibitively expensive. Oh, Tmnt. Like, it's so...
Make it so.
No, exactly right.
Engage. Sorry.
Is he gonna start calling Splinter number 1?
Take away Matt's microphone. Take it
Check
away.
out previous episode on Danger Island for the most terrible joke I've ever made.
Oh, God.
So they don't make it clear, but April is down there. I don't think they make it clear at first, but then it's like, okay, then you get it that she's down there because Mr. Winter sent her to collect this thing, and Leonardo just happens to be there, and she hears about the local legend and goes, oh, that's Leo. So that's how she tracks him down and says, hey, your brothers aren't doing great, like, without you.
Yeah. You were supposed to be on like a 6-month training mission. You've been
And
gone for
you're-
2.5 years. Where have you been?
Yeah, where have you been?
Yeah. That happens to all of us, Murray.
He was the ghost of the jungle.
Yeah, it's like the PG version of Predator.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, so we should also mention here, whereas they have like a sit and talk, and she tries to get him to come home. Yeah. He ignores her. He goes. He does the Batman thing.
Yeah, just ghosts him.
What is the Night Stalker? What is Raphael calling himself?
The Night Walker.
Night Watcher.
Night Watcher. Okay, so
yeah.
the Night Stalker is just like killing kids.
The Night Non-Talker.
He's armored himself like a humanoid
Night
rhino. I guess. Which one is it? Bebop or Rocksteady?
The Night Non-Stopper. That's a different movie altogether.
He looks like Master Chef or Master Chief from Halo.
He does. You know, I gotta tell you, the opening of the film and all the way up until him reminded me of, this would have been a great movie if they wanted to make a Warhammer movie. Like a Warhammer 40K, and a very like back to the Imperial, Space Marines, heresy kind of vibe to it. The way that the flags were tattered and all the costuming. I was like, damn, these people play fucking Warhammer. I can feel their nerddom coming through the fucking television.
Hashtag Imperial Unit.
So
Hashtag Imperial
So
Unit.
the turtles, like the orcs, we're gonna beat up those Humies or something. They're trying to do the British Cockney thing and it's not working.
No, you had it. You were killing it, Matt. Go ahead, keep doing that.
Yeah, no, keep
For the whole episode. Please.
We the orcs and we want the pizza.
Okay, I take that back. Stop it. Stop it.
I also got a Game of Thrones, or not Game of Thrones, Lord of the Rings vibe. From the beginning, the war in the sepia tone.
So the whole thing is that they're supposed to now be losers, right? Like, because like you said, the beginning of the movie is kind of interesting. Like, well, I don't know how you do a kids movie with 12.5 minutes of exposition. Like, and then the gods came down, and then the hell portal opened, and then all of a sudden demons, and there were 30 of them. And then there's 4 dudes who were kind of the hero, and 1 was a girl. And you're just
listen,
like,
you're forgetting the fact that kids at this time are watching Yu-Gi-Oh, which has almost the same exact plot.
But that's a problem. And
I'm really glad you guys are saying all of this because I felt bad while I was watching it because I was like, oh my God, I don't get it. Like, I was like trying to follow and all like there was like another level of complexity with what they were doing.
No, see, it's because movies don't exist anymore.
It's actually because it was written by men who have never had sex.
Oh.
Keep that laugh. Use it for everything. I want it as a sound clip. I broke Nick.
You're not wrong.
I know I'm not wrong.
No, but like the point is, if like a show like Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh or whatever, at the beginning they're like, Ash Ketchum is a kid who collects collects animals and shoves them into things and then hides them in his basement. And you're just like, oh boy! And they reestablish it every single time. And so you're like, and in the last episode he tried to hook up with Misty and she said no, so now he's grumpy. And then like they establish all that because it's a 22-minute show, 5 minutes of it's commercial, 3 minutes exposition. So they have to come up with 12 extra minutes. And,
there's tons of exposition, but I think they're doing that for the kids because who probably didn't watch the show in the 80s and probably didn't know,
They're doing that for their parents that are bringing the kids. Because those parents were the ones who did watch the cartoon in the 80s. And they're like, oh my God, my son, little Hayden, or whatever the fuck his name would be now, is going to love this. I'm going to take him. And Hayden don't give a shit about your turtles. But the parents care. And so they've got to give enough stuff for them,
But they could have done it a lot.
Well, but the problem is they repeat it 6 times.
Yeah.
Because then Wayne Bruce has to be like, if we collect all these things, I can send them back to hell because I'm secretly the good guy. And then the head of the Foot Clan is like,
but that doesn't happen until the end. You're skipping out a lot of important stuff here.
I'm 3,000 years old and I want to die.
Yes.
Was there any pizza in this movie?
I think
There was a lot of pizza.
There were empty pizza boxes.
Constantly. Michelangelo has it almost all the time in his hand.
I think we see him
He
eating
has a
sometimes.
sweet skateboarding little gig
He
to get into
does.
the lair. That was pretty cool.
What we don't get, which clearly Keiko wants, is that scene from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 where it's like dripping the cheese everywhere. They're like, bro, have you heard of pizza? And they're like, what? Pizza? And it's just like dripping mozzarella cheese. And then Pizza Hut comes out with the Turtles Classic, which is just a slightly larger pizza.
All right, so we're all going out to pizza after this, right? Obviously.
I was going to say, usually we do have interspliced, as our good friend Charlie calls trash pizza, where it is Pizza Hut.
It is.
And that's what it is.
It is.
It is.
So.
The one with cheese in the crust. We should mention that April does return at some point here. And Casey Jones, who is now her boyfriend, which, like, hot stuff.
Live-in boyfriend. So she wants a certain level of commitment that a man who runs around in a hockey mask and a baseball bat is not really ready to give yet. But, he doesn't want to live in his mother's basement anymore. So he's like, yeah, babe, I'll pay half. Will he, though?
But then, first of all, he's not going to pay anything.
He's kind of a man-child in this one, and we first meet him sleeping in and forgetting he's supposed to meet her at the truck.
Yeah. He's paying. He's paying with dick.
I was going to say, he must be packing.
He's paying with dick, trust me.
So he's her kept man.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
He's a cat man.
Listen,
that was her place.
Every woman at this table has totally let a dude live with her to smash him. Okay? Yeah, look at that. Trust me, I'm looking at these two right across from me right now. I know your secrets. I know. Don't look at Lauren. You're included in this too.
Dead mom has spoken. I was like, too.
That's in my husband.
Smash.
Yeah. Mine was in my husband. Thank God. But anyway.
It's only funny because I knew you.
Yeah.
I will say too, it's just funny because it's proven time and again because she shows up in like a sharp business suit. She's looking hot. She's looking good. He shows up barely able to tie a tie and destroys like $100,000 vase. And he's like, babe, I did it again. And she's like, she looks at him.
I know.
Like it's a good thing.
It's a good thing that in the imperial metric system, it's a big boy.
Imperial unit.
Yeah.
And then when
But that's how you discover that when you break things, the walls come down.
That's right. It helps us later. In the film.
Foreshadowing.
it's a good script.
It's a tool used for later.
It's really good writing.
So
I know that's what I think of when I think of this film.
Oh god, help me. And then the boss with the power move comes in and kisses her on the cheek while looking at him the whole time.
Yeah.
He's looking at Casey Jones like, try to fuck her. I'm Wayne Bruce. I'm the biggest man you've ever seen. I am huge. I'm a foot and a half taller than you.
And he's living in that tower that looks like it's from Ghostbusters.
Dude. And it's Ghostbusters too. At the end, it's just opening up the portal to it's Vigo. It's
the buzzing of eyes to him.
And by the way, if you haven't been listening to this podcast, the more it's a kids movie, the filthier the podcast. I don't know what to tell you.
It's true.
Because here they're like, oh, let's make a cute joke for adults. Like, there's that one gargoyle that's just eating like birds, and you just
Why not?
no idea.
Yeah, right?
No, there's no idea.
Do it.
April's suit from Japan that she Yeah.
It is hot.
No, they do try to do the monsters. Like one is clearly Cyclops. One's a gargoyle.
Yeah.
One's like they're trying to make the 13.
What else was on the WB
different
in
things.
1993? We got gargoyles.
There's a
There
double
was a
one.
dinosaur.
Yeah.
We've got the woman with the long hair that looks like it's the Screecher from Mortal Kombat. We should mention here we get the Night Watchman again. We got Raphael dressed up like a dipshit. This is when Casey Jones figures out who he is, right?
Which again isn't hard to do. It's a metal turtle uniform. It's much like in Turbo Man when at the end she's like, "Thank you, Turbo Man." Like, it's your husband. You don't know. You don't know that's Arnold Schwarzenegger? Come on.
Body type.
Yeah, right? Come on, girl. Even with the lights out, it's obviously Arnold. I mean, just fucking listen for a second.
Unless she's getting plowed by Phil Hartman in that movie.
Oh, God.
It's true. I mean, that's the plot of the movie.
Dad.
Oh, I'm eating your daughter. I'm eating your wife's cookies.
Oh, it's
Don't eat my
cookies.
Don't eat my wife's cookies.
No, but Casey says he'll do it with Raph and keep his secret, right? And so they kind of have a thing going where they're a duo.
Did you know that originally for Casey Jones instead of Chris Evans, they wanted Shia LaBeouf to do the voice?
Actual cannibal Shia LaBeouf.
Yes.
I mean,
That would be interesting.
He's right behind you.
Actually, I can't recall what he sounds like, so I laughed.
He talks really fast.
it's Captain America, but here's the thing. At this point, he had been in Fantastic Four as the Human Torch, and
That
those
same
movies
year.
were terrible.
That same year.
2007?
2007 was
Yeah.
when Fantastic Four came out, yeah.
So, I mean, he was
Not the Roger Corman one.
better
Tapestry.
movie.
Better movie.
It is! The Corbin was an actual movie.
It is.
Everyone says it's been terrible. So good luck, Marvel.
Right?
The plot is paper thin, so we can talk about whatever you want. How's your day going? No,
That's great.
So, sitting on top of a mountain, on top of a building, this is where Roth sits down and says, look, I'm sick of doing nothing. I want to, matter again, effectively.
Yeah.
Because with Leonardo gone, the Turtles are rudderless. The whole point is that he's supposed to be the leader. But by defeating Shredder, they don't have a purpose.
And Master Splinter sits around watching soaps all day. My stories are on.
My God, when he says my stories, I lost my shit. Which, by the way, when he first walks into the room, he's singing a little song that was totally ad-libbed by Mako. It's in
Japanese.
It's in Japanese. It's a Japanese lullaby, and he was just doing it, and they thought it was cute, and they recorded it, and they kept it in there.
Well, then he's watching,
Gilmore Girls. He's watching Gilmore Girls.
He's watching Gilmore Girls.
Because he's like, I think so-and-so will break up with blah, blah, blah. And it's like, and you're like, what the hell is he watching? And then the news pops on. It's like, Gilmore Girls is being interrupted by blah. And I was like, whoa, Gilmore Girls. Never mind. This dates the fucking film now.
Love it.
We're done.
Well, and then Leonardo shows up like a terrorist. He comes out of a plane. Oh, God.
He's been hiding in a wheel well with a hang glider.
Well, and not only is he...
It worked in Fifth Element.
It did. And he shows up unannounced. We're like a third of the way through the movie, and one of the main characters shows up.
And everyone is so glad to see him, except, of course, Raphael.
Raphael.
Yeah.
No, but Leo doesn't recognize that it's Raph when as the Night Watcher.
They do have a great fight scene.
Again, yeah. So they have a pretty cool fight scene.
It's like
But it's like...
It's a Legend of Zelda
How do
movie.
you not recognize your brother? Like...
Hey, you fight like an asshole with size. Oh, you must be Raphael. I do like Leonardo showing back up because I kind of am a sucker for like a getting the gang back together montage. And something that this does, I don't like this animation much. It looks very flat to me. We mentioned it looks very for the era. But like when he shows up and Michelangelo and Donatello are passed out after another pizza binge and he just kind of smiles at them. They like each other. It's those little moments that show that the characters actually care, right? And then he goes and sees Splinter, and he kneels down, and he talks to him. And again, you get this feeling that it's not okay yet, but the gang is coming back together, and that's a good thing.
Right. To figure out the next plan.
And then they smoke opium and whatever happens.
No, I thought the animation was very comic booky. I mean, I think that's exactly what they were going for. I thought that was pretty cool. I thought it was different. I mean, it's definitely different animation, but obviously they're trying to be very comic book. And even the skyscraper, they're clearly trying to make it New York without the actual New York skyline.
Yeah, I mean, I wish...
Well, they had to because this is post 9/11.
Right.
Well, I wish they had a little bit more free reign. Just a skosh. If only that... It just feels so kid Nickelodeon cartoony. It's all so well lit. Like, I wish you could do a little bit more to make it darker.
2D.
I mean, the scenes where they're reuniting is nice because it's all candles, but other than that, just the same warm colors over and over again. And that's like, I know you said it's New York post 9/11, that's fine. If it's going to go full Ghostbusters 2, make up one new building that's kind of evil, which they should have done.
They did. It's where Bruce Wayne lives. It's Wayne Bruce lives, yeah.
But it's just, it looks like it's the one-man building. It's very foul. It's incredible.
The guy's a 3,000-year-old, Aztec general. You call him like El Highlander.
It does have Highlander moments because as people die, the souls get absorbed. It's strange. There's a lot in it. It's tapestry.
It is the tapestry.
This movie is too deep for me.
Well, you see, just some professor with brandy, like, oh yes, the subtle intricacies of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I mean, obviously it's going to be kiddie. You can't critique that. It's a kid's movie. Like, they can't have anything. Even though there's everything that they have are incredibly violent weapons. There's no blood. There's no nothing. It's going to be, which reminds me of the second Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie where the parents complain. So Leonardo has sausages he's fighting with more than his actual sword. They're trapped in a net and he can't cut them down.
Yeah, I mean, with bad guys, they normally just chain them up, like just tie them up.
They do.
I mean,
it's Batman, right? They hang them by their feet until they're captured.
Exactly.
Well, if the justice system deal with it, they never do it wrong.
Although they make that joke because the one bank robber is freed like 3 days later.
Yeah, it's like, didn't I deal with you last week? That's exactly, yeah. That's a vibe.
That's spot on.
That is spot on. Just saying.
So around here is when we're introduced to the actual demon things because they go out together as a team for the first time in years, right? Yeah. At this point, and what they want to do is pose on a rooftop. Right? This is what he wants to do. We're going to just stretch on the roof. We're just practicing, guys, posing. A flying V. And they hear, like, grumbles and thunders and the Foot Clan, effectively. And they climb some scaffolding, and they end up seeing the Foot Clan fighting a Sasquatch? A Yeti?
A Yeti. It's a Yeti.
A Yeti, yeah.
Because it's Yeti,
Cyclops,
New Jersey Devil.
New Jersey Devil.
It's like these classic archetypes of monsters and demons. God, I wish Nessie would have been there. God, that better movie, right?
Bigfoot. Well, Yeti is Bigfoot.
Yeah.
No, but you should have a Yeti, like a Central Asian one, versus an American Sasquatch. Just a guy who's like 8 feet tall and kind of hairy. He's a center for the Boston Celtics, and they're just going at it, Just a pleasant Canadian offers him maple syrup. Some Bob Evans.
Yeah. Movie ends.
That's right.
If he was a Yeti from Florida, his one arm wouldn't work.
Would you care for...
It's a little vibe for my deep Disney files. My Disney adults listening. I love you. Message me.
The skunky Champ from Lake Champlain. I can mention
Champy.
I am that guy. I've seen every X-Files.
Mokalia Membe from previous episode Baby, Secret of the Lost Legend. The Foot had to fight Sean Young to get it.
You dug that out of nowhere, man. Well done.
Good job.
Well done.
Yeah, and this
He's like a silent killer. He's just sitting there all chill and then comes out with that.
Yeah, and this part is one of the parts I enjoyed where Leo's in the kitchen fighting the little demon guy and he gets squashed by the refrigerator.
Yeah.
And what's cool about that scene is the music, they didn't plan it, but the music stops, the song they played, and there was a whimper anyway. So the timing worked out to where it would be the whimper of the monster, so they kept it. Like, I thought that was really cool. If you listen, you can hear the little whimper.
And we should mention around here, too, is where everything gets murky. Because we were established that Wayne Bruce had hired the Foot Clan.
Yes.
For reasons vague at the time.
He needs them looking out for monsters.
I need your eyes and ears to tell me if shit's going down in town. You're like, well, what kind of shit? You're like, I have friends coming. You're like, okay, what kind of friends? You'll know. Okay, boy, this is the most vague job I have ever taken, but does it have health insurance? Done. I'll sign up. Yeah.
The Foot Clan needs money.
Well, a guy named Dickless from the EPA has opened the containment unit.
Right.
And all the ghosts of the
Will the Foot Clan needs someone who will match their 401k. And so I feel like this is that kind of guy.
And so like, and when the turtles show up, they're just watching the Foot Clan getting the shit kicked out of them, which, by the way, I get. It's kind of the best, because Michelangelo's like, no, I'm just going to stay here and watch them lose.
We're good.
Because Leo shows up, he's like, do you want help? And she starts trying to stab him, because Michelangelo is the one dude who gets it the whole time. He's like, I want my pizza and weed, which is set off screen, but it's there.
True. Did you know a little fact? Michelangelo is the only turtle with blue eyes as opposed to the rest of the turtles, and it's supposed to represent innocence and sincerity.
By the way, I
love it.
Which is the podcast, so no one can see that you
Got so deep.
I wasn't
like, because he's innocent.
and sincerity.
What color eyes do you have, Candace? I mean, I'm just
I have like brownish green because I'm the fucking devil. So, you know.
Dead mom. Okay.
Yeah.
Was anybody else bothered by the fact that the Foot Clan lady just did these weird little like motions to direct?
No, I thought it was awesome. I want to do that for everything.
It bothered me. There was something about it where she was just like, like constantly.
Like, you just have two boys who don't listen. You're in charge of Rocky Horror. You tell people to like.
I do. I can do one clap, and then there's silence in that fucking theater. They are terrified. I'm like, and they're like, and I'm like.
So just because it's a side story from here, I walk up to the bar at the theater, and I'm like, give me a tall boy 420, and Candace wants a drink. And the second I said Candace wants something, he stood too.
Oh, nice.
And he goes, what she's having?
That's my girl.
And I'm like, she said tequila, and he goes, tequila and Sprite? I got you.
That's my girl.
I take out my credit card, and he goes, no. It's on the house, because Candace wants a drink. And I'm just like, dead mom. Dead mom.
So Candace, are you the HBIC?
Yes.
What does that stand for?
Head bitch in charge.
Oh.
It's an imperial. It's an imperial unit.
Oh my god. We don't even need to watch a movie. We can just say we're going to do Forrest Gump and talk for 2.5 hours about nonsense.
It's true.
I'm afraid of Candace.
No!
I love her.
I'm afraid of her.
No.
So, but basically, to wrap it up, like, at the end, they find the monsters.
They do.
Except for the last one. 13th one.
Because the
That's
four
the key.
stone generals that April was collecting the last one for El Batman.
For Rain Brews, so they get all the monsters. Except the last one.
The movie's stupid. Like,
No, the movie's not stupid. What you have is, you have 4 people who are still living the lives of these very power-hungry generals that they were. Their lives have been put on hold. And so now you have their counterpart who's lived 3,000 years. It's very much like this Doctor Who kind of character where he's seen all his friends grow, love, die, grow, love, die, grow, love, die. So he's like, I'm done with life. It is a curse. And eternal life is a curse. Just trust me. Let's just finish it. Let's go. And they're, of course, like, bitch, we just woke up. We don't want to die. That's a no. And so they're like, no, we're not going to catch that last monster. We're not going anywhere. The 3,000 years without us has made you soft. And that's sad.
And I will emphasize here that this is the kids' plot of it's the same thing they're going through. We've been apart for so long. If we don't want to be a team, we shouldn't be a team. We need to listen to each other. And by listening to each other, we will be able to defeat the evil. That's what's going on.
Oh my God, the Care Bears have that same mantra.
That's what we did at Cineprom when Larry didn't give up his mic and got told he was being sexist. That'll be it.
Daniel, that's in the deep cut. Cut that out, Daniel.
Yeah, Daddy will be that. So I should mention, just in general, the whole turtle plot line until the final, 10 minutes, is Raphael's being an asshole, and Michelangelo and Donatello are kind of doing whatever, and Leo's trying to make them a team again. And, Splinter was like, you guys really should not be out in the world because you're not a team anymore and someone's going to fuck it up. And Raphael done fucks it up in the scene where Laurence says that we mentioned earlier. But essentially, Ramirez, the Night Stalker, is like, I'm going to beat up criminals for no reason. And Leo fights him. He kicks the shit out of him. And he goes, oh my God, Raph, you can't do this. You're going to ruin it for everyone. Raphael breaks the two swords, the katanas, so that Leo can get tranked immediately. He screws it up. In every one of these movies,
and he's so mad. He almost kills him.
He does.
Like he stabs his side right next to his head, and that's that moment where on his face where he knows he done fucked up. So you were mad enough to kill someone that you love. I'm not saying I would kill someone, but I mean, I've been close to that. I get it, right? And so then he runs off and he's crying. You can hear him audibly crying as he's running away.
And then
I only cut their brakes, so gravity killed them.
That's so nice of you.
And then when Leonardo's captured, Michelangelo's chasing after them and they outrun him. He's like, no, never have dramatic, loud no's. It never really works.
There's an awkward silence at the table. Matt and Nick are looking at each other in an upsetting yet mildly lustful way.
Can we talk about April's boobs again?
Okay, here we go. Back to the important stuff.
Like her Japanese outfit.
Yeah,
I did. It's nice.
So at one point, the whole idea is that April's starting to figure out that Wayne Bruce might be involved. Now, she thinks he's the villain secretly. But he's kind of not. It's an interesting character. Because what he's trying to do is prevent the apocalypse. Right? He wants to get rid of these demons.
He's here for atonement.
They don't know that. They don't know that.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Just in general, he's an interesting guy.
Right. He's here for atonement. He's a good villain. I mean, I love complex villains. I like villains that aren't just straight up villains. I like the Magnetos of the world.
I just wish it happened
earlier in the film.
The explanation happened earlier because it would be interesting to have, say, Casey Jones siding with the Turtles, but she's against them because she knows what he's trying to do, but no one else gets it.
Oh,
that would be
that'd have been fun.
Conflict.
Yeah.
Because, at one point, the second to last one is the one who looks like Man-Bat. It's just this huge bat flying over the town. Raphael and Casey Jones are after it. That's the reason why they leave April O'Neil behind. And it'd just be, interesting to be Mr. Winter to grab April, look, you're helping me get these things because I'm trying to save the world. No one understands it, but you might because you've dealt with talking turtlemen for years.
But the turtles will feel that betrayal a bit for a minute and create some of that tension. Yeah, I like that.
Meanwhile, the only tension that we have is that Leo's going to be captured. And so the turtles get involved to save their brother, which, again,
of which Leo is captured.
Right.
And he's put into the 13th holding chamber, if you will. So that way, Wayne Bruce thinks that all 13 have been captured, even though one of them is fake. It's Leo.
Well, because he thinks anything that as weird as a teenage Ninja Turtle, not an adult Ninja Turtle, but a teenage Ninja Turtle, must be a demon. And I get it. I've dealt with teenagers for the last 20 years.
It's true. Well, then I think it's supposed to show that he has implicit trust in his brothers, whereas then you find the counterpart, which is the opposite, where Ralph has nothing but contempt and never trusts in his brothers.
Right. And, the conflict is Leo wants to be the leader. Roth wants to be a lone wolf. I mean, I get it. We've all been there. I tried podcasting by myself, but I'm stronger with all.
That's true.
I feel like his helmet too, as the Night Watcher, it seemed very kind of Shredder-ish, right? A little bit.
Very much
like,
so.
yeah.
I didn't know if that was. I wonder if that was on purpose. Maybe.
Of course it was.
Yeah.
It's also like Dark Knight Returns. It's like...
It looks exactly like an Imperial Space Marine from Warhammer 40K.
Or Master Chef from Halo. Like...
Master Chef.
He's
gonna serve...
Gordon Ramsay. He's just yelling at people with swords.
He fights them with risotto.
You're an idiot ninja.
Your chicken is raw.
He's going to serve the Covenant for lunch. Grilled alien.
I will serve you for lunch. Would you prefer the salad? But yeah, I mean, I do like the fight. And now, I'm going to get my years wrong. But the fight between Leo and Roth in the armor as the Night Rapist looks exactly like Batman v Superman. Because it's raining and he's like, my mom is also Martha. Which is a joke at one point, by the way. He goes, your mom's a loser. He goes, we had the same mom because we're brothers.
Right.
And you're just like, what world? What am I watching?
Batman versus Superman came out in 2016.
Holy shit, so they ripped this off?
Stole it.
Oh, snap.
Zack Snyder's like, I love the Turtles.
Zack Snyder was like
But
stroking
again,
that
he
dick
doesn't
while
recognize
watching
him.
this.
Like, haven't they trained together for years? Wouldn't he recognize his brother's
Fighting style? You would
His
think.
brother's walking around dressed like a tank.
Hey, that sidekick kind of looks
You
like
would
Raph's. Like,
You would think.
I'm just saying.
It's to show how like unconnected they are.
Disconnected.
Yeah. It's like in a show when the child calls his father like Tim instead of dad. Yeah. To show the fucking disconnect.
I'm not helping anything.
No. You're here for moral support in IT. You're the eye candy.
Oh, how do you pull it in?
So he's Donatello.
Yeah, you're done. In fact, at the end, we're going to go around and we're going to vote at the table who is which turtle.
Oh, nice.
And now, obviously, there's going to be some overlapping because there's more of us than there are turtles, but we could be anyone within the movie. Say it again?
Matt's going to be our party dude.
Obviously. So.
Okay. Can we stretch this as long as the movie?
Okay, well,
There's a lot to say
at some
about the
point,
movie.
the Turtles, Splinter, and April.
You said the turtles splinter because Leo's captured.
But
I will say, the scene that I thought was the best
He meant
in this whole
turtles,
movie,
comma, Splinter, comma, April.
the scene that I think is the best
And
in the whole
comma,
movie is where
Casey.
when Matt's talking about... I'll let you say what you're going to say. I just want to talk about the scene
But Kanye was the best winner, is that it?
No, I want to talk about the scene right before it because I think it's excellently done.
Mm-hmm.
Roth and Leonardo are fighting. Raphael essentially gets exposed to who he is, and then he kind of wins by breaking the swords. Right as he leaves, Leo is hit by a tranq dart,
Yes.
and he's trying to fight while slowly being drugged. That's an incredible scene, because just as he screams for help, because God knows what they do to him, they knock him out, but he yells right as Roth hears him from a distance, tries to go back, but it's too late. Like, you don't usually have in 65, 70 seconds that much emotional shift in a kid's thing. It works incredibly well. The way I think they did this movie is not by like storyboarding, but rather by beats. This feels like a beat, like if, as an actress, you often memorize things by emotional moments. This is the one emotional moment that I feel really works, because they cut to black like it's a death. It's a commercial break and a bad. Roth has to show up and say that he fucked up to Splinter, and he's destroying the workout equipment as though all the working out I did didn't matter because I'm an emotional wreck. That's good directing. This is the one part to me that actually not only felt emotionally relevant, but that the movie actually had a plan. The rest of it feels like they strung a bunch of episodes that they wanted to do before the show was put on hiatus, canceled, whatever. This feels like it had emotional weight. That works here, because then Splinter's like, cowabunga. And we move on to the final act. Now you can say your piece, but I just wanted to point out.
Yeah, so the three turtles, April, who we see doing kendo earlier, Casey and Splinter proceed to try and bash their way through the Foot Clan to get into Wayne Bruce's fortress just as the planets are aligning. And at one point, April and Karai fight, and April does not get destroyed because in one of the cartoons, Karai just takes her apart. I mean, Johnny Lawrence had the decency to at least finish Daniel-san pretty quickly. Karai is just toying with her.
Have you seen the show?
There's like a bunch of different versions. I think, though, there's a later version of the animated show I'm referring to.
And there's another animated movie prior to this, which is a 2003, which also has her and all this stuff in it.
Oh, man, we could do that next season.
Oh, great. Wow, I can't wait to not be around for that.
They proceed to bash their way into the Fortress of Solitude and break a vase to bring the door down.
Yeah. I like the fight on the bridge. I think that works out well. I mean, again, like you could play the Crazy 88 soundtrack underneath it from Kill Bill because it's dun 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 dun. Like,
oh yeah, I mean, again, this is someone who these animators are Tarantino fans. Which, by the way, Tarantino was one of the voices they actually wanted for Michelangelo because they wanted him to work on the project.
Oh my god!
So he was busy doing some other bullshit.
So we have no feet shots.
Yeah, right. Pretty much.
I mean.
Y'all remember that show Jackie Chan Adventures?
I do. Adult Swim, right?
No,
I think it was also it was Fox.
Oh, I'm thinking of the
with all the talismans and all those animals.
Jackie Chan was later in the Teenage, wasn't he?
No, it was in 2000. 7 years prior to this.
Okay.
I was just curious because, again, like a lot of stuff you're bringing up is making me think of other dynamic shots that I've seen like that, and it's. I don't know. I feel like this is kind of a love letter that they did to other like really popular cartoons at the time.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I think too, like this show also reminds me of the Teen Titans Go show, where they're just like, look, we have no budget, and so we're just going to reference the stuff we like, and that's what Teen Titans Goes to the movie is as well. Like this is a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, but like we said earlier, there are elements of Kill Bill. There's elements of it feels like a Ghostbusters movie in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Like it's like getting the gang back together. Like they just hit the tropes.
Yeah.
Which, if you do the trope thing, you've got to have a spin on it, or be self-referential. And that's what Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was. Like Eastman and Laird, when they created them, were trying to make a parody of others, what superheroes were at the time. Mm-hmm. And it was incredibly violent, it was incredibly ridiculous, and then when kids got a hold on it, they had to be less violent, but it's still doing the referencing. They're like, you're right, Batman would be stupid in a world of 1,000 villains, and with other people who are equally powerful. Like, if you have people who are exactly matched and are complements to each other, breaking up the team would be a dumb idea. Like, they do it all very well. And the fact that they're not surprised that there are demons in this world also tell you, oh yeah, this is a stupid world. We're used to, of course, now there's going to be a marshmallow man. And they do it very well together.
Exactly.
So after April very sexually defeats an entire row of these guys.
Sure does.
Yeah, she was wearing her 80s outfit. She would look exactly like the bride.
We should mention here, we're talking about her because there are two women in this entire thing.
It's true.
And they're the best characters. They're the most defined. They have the lines that actually matter. And poor Wayne Bruce is like, thank God, April, you're here. It's your boyfriend. But she's the one who gets it. She's the one who figures it out. Splinter's too high on Hash at this point to understand.
He was really upset because he missed his episode of Gilmore Girls.
Yeah, his brain is fried by his stories.
Yeah, it's true. So
he was worried about.
It's true.
I also like how the Foot look like aliens at this point. They have those big, wide...
giant red... Yeah.
Anyway, so Wayne Bruce here is like, look, I'm trying to collect these villains because if I get them all, I don't know, I've collected all of Mario's golden coins.
If I get them all, I can die.
Yes.
Yeah, he wants to die. He's ready.
We've all been there. Meanwhile, the other Metallo people, there's three dudes and a girl.
Yes. And actually, in all of their names in Aztec are the animals that they're supposed to represent or look like.
Oh, cool.
So like one means eagle, one means monkey, one means whatever.
Jaguar.
Yeah, because when you look at their actual aesthetic and how they're drawn, it's supposed to mimic that.
That makes sense.
Very thoughtful.
Yeah, little thought, little Easter eggs like that, little treats, little snacky poo.
Little snack.
Tappity, tappity, tap. Wikipedia.
Yeah.
I would have thought the turtles would have been more excited about this because they were wanting, excitement and adventure, right? After a purpose, like we're saying, right? But I guess is it just because, like, it was a real danger with Leonardo that it made them not as excited about it anymore?
Based on your definition, I like this because it's like the turtles are the Rosencrantz and Guildenstern of the story because, like, if they hadn't showed up, the story could have just resolved on its own.
Yeah, it's the Ark. It's the Ark. It's Indiana Jones and the Ark.
I mean, I think the only thing that matters really at the end is that Casey Jones and April take the Turtles mobile, which is the one that Michelangelo takes to kids' parties, and drives the last character into the portal. But had nothing else happened, it's the same movie.
Yeah, I think April and Casey are having a couples fight up front, and Karai and one of her cronies are in the back. Like, shouldn't they be concentrating on their driving?
Monster? She goes, you would think they would be more concerned about the monster. And then, of course, the other ninja's like shaking his head up and down in like agreement.
We're not going to pay anyone else. We can't afford it.
They've already maxed out the budget with Sarah Michelle Gellar. And so, yeah, I mean,
luckily
that's funny.
She's rocking it, so we're good.
God, she's so rocking it. God damn, I love her. You know what? I want to look up something about her right now.
That's it forever.
Continue.
As Candace opens up a private tab.
It's a private incognito.
Yes, you're looking for Karai's OnlyFans page.
I will say, one of a joke I got, is in the final fight scene. Essentially, they're fighting in the lobby of, Wayne Bruce's, like, building. But he has all this, like, antiques. And so when Leonardo sees the wall of swords and he starts loading up his shelf, that I thought was very funny. Because for the rest of the thing, every time he fights someone gets knocked away, he pulls a slightly older sword. And this is where it becomes Highlander, effectively. But it's just very funny because he's, like, doing ninja shit with, like, a claymore and then, like, a side and, like, a Scottish longsword. Like, it's great. Meanwhile, Splinter, who's kind of got it because he's coming down, it's just like, you should knock them into this because it looks like a portal. It looks like the end of the level from Legend of Zelda. So they're trying to gather people.
I mean, this is a boss fight. Let's face it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a supervisor, like, engagement.
It's their yearly evaluation.
That's right. Meanwhile,
we really just want to set goals. It's about goal setting.
Now, Matt, as the head of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, we've looked at your goals from last year. Do you feel like you've accomplished?
They're called performance reviews now. I know, because I just got a message about the fact that I need to fill out my performance review, my self-evaluation, because, what's lazier than not giving me a raise? Making me type up why you're not giving me a fucking raise.
That's right.
Damn it.
So why do you think you should do blank? Because you've paid me and I haven't fucked up yet. Would you like me to fuck up? Is this what you're telling me? I hate that part.
I don't know. Dumb.
Anyway, it's fine.
It's fine. Let's just make millions off podcasting. That'll work,
Yes.
right?
Absolutely.
Anyway, so the level's about to end and everyone's being flushed down the turlet. The problem is they're one gurgling short.
Oh, yeah.
Oh no! So instead, all the bad guys with the swords, they're coming back because, unfortunately, the princess is in another castle. So instead, all of a sudden, Casey Jones and the sexy one show back up, and the dog. It literally looks like Rick Moranis' dog guy from the first Ghostbusters shows up and he slides into the pit and everyone dies. And that's the end of the movie.
Yay!
Is that really how it ended?
They crashed the car.
What we've forgotten is a beautiful scene where suddenly, finally, the sweet kiss of death releases Wayne Bruce.
No, this is before that.
And he goes up into the sky, and much like in Beauty and the Beast, he he's kind of draped down. He's like laying there and he's floating to his sparkles. But then we're immediately left with the fact that Michelangelo's can taste him.
Yeah.
And is in his nose. And that's funny.
Michelangelo got his balls.
He definitely had his balls in his mouth. His little turtle mouth.
I liked because in the moment when they crashed the car and then everybody comes out of the car and they're like, did we win? That's how I felt watching the movie too. I was like, was that it? That was it. Like,
that was it.
Yeah, that was it. It was the end.
They're like, do we do a thing? So, yeah. And then there you go. And they had a kiss.
Yeah.
Because that's how everyone makes up. Because that's how we convey that.
Yeah, our manic pixie dream girl kisses the guy with the longest head in the movie. Casey and his Jones.
And his Imperial unit.
I mean, I'll tell you what.
Then they leave off at the end that there could be a sequel because she says, and soon
We're
in
going to meet
history,
again.
you're going to meet again.
Yeah,
You're going to get more familiar faces.
Yeah.
You're like, oh shit, great, who's coming back?
She meaning
Splinter.
Meaning
Wait,
Shudder.
Shudder. Yeah.
Shudder.
When you said Splinter, when you said Slither.
Splinter is
the
on
dreams are kicking in.
Slather.
Slather.
The ultimate villain.
Oh, Slather. She's going to have a foot train run off.
He's the worst.
Splinter doesn't want to leave his stories.
That's right. It won't be
So
Splinter.
did they leave that open for a possible sequel that just never happened?
That's what I heard.
That would be like
And
a
Michael
movie.
Bay will boldly pick up the mantle
Yeah.
and talk about turtle erection.
There is a Ninja Turtles movie coming out in August.
That's
Yeah.
why we did this now.
So
Well, what you're forgetting is there was another movie afterwards, and it was done in 2012.
Okay.
It was also an animated
That's
film,
what
but it
I
was
missing.
that weird block style Minecraft type animation. But it is directly off of this film. It was also done by Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
And it's where they're trained in the art of ninjutsu.
Which they weren't already trained in already.
Listen, I just read the shit,
First of
okay?
all, it's turtle food.
And, second of all, you can't even acknowledge it even if your own brother fought you. That's how fucking good it is. There you have it, folks.
So if I may,
Yeah,
season 10. We've started strong.
we have.
Yeah.
If by strong you mean horrible,
We did it.
awful,
No.
Did it,
disgusting.
guys. Mission accomplished.
Wow.
I just hope we don't run out of turtle movies.
Something tells me we will literally never, ever run out of turtle movies, even if we want to run out of turtle movies.
Well,
I don't want to.
so our episode 1 was, of course, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and we did those. But we also did a second episode was Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, so we've done that. So we have the third one of those to do. And then after that, our third episode, I believe, was Super Troopers, so we can do the second one of those. And I think this is better than the second Super Troopers movie. So I will also mention here, I never thought we'd make it to season 10. So congratulations to us.
I definitely thought you would make it to season 10. I believed in you all along.
It's because you're a wonderful human being. And I will say, to all the other wonderful human beings who have been on this show, except for the ones I don't talk to anymore, thank you. Because if it was just me, I would have stopped years ago. So let's go around the table, give the final thoughts on this movie. Why'd you start us off?
So this was better than I thought it was going to be. Honestly, this is my first time seeing it, so I will say it was better than I thought it was going to be. I thought the animation was obviously trying to be very comic booky. I think that was cool and different. I enjoyed that. I think it definitely could have been faster paced. The ending I thought was great, but they could have like made the middle a lot better and less exposition like we talked about. The voice actors I thought was really cool. That just kind of made my heart sing. I recognized Mako right away. But yeah, overall better than I thought, but we're seeing, but definitely not again.
I agree. The first time I watched this, it was like on Netflix and it was free, and I fully support that. The second time, I paid for it, and I do not support that. It was okay. It was a good Ninja Turtle story if you're a fan, but it was kind of weird at times. I think kids will really like it. There were some pretty funny parts, but in general, it was just kind of meh for me.
I thought it was pretty good. They tried to be creative. It's not no Krang, no Shredder, no Bebop, no Rocksteady. They try to do something original.
Candace?
Well, I thought Matt was going to say more things.
Say more, Matt.
I feel like Matt was going to say more.
Yeah, it's an original concept. They could try and kind of get a little deeper with the fraying relationship stuff. So I think it's worth seeing once.
Yeah, I agree with that. So as someone who loves the animation style of Clone Wars, and I like the lighting and filtering of 300 and those style films, I liked the overall look of the film. I like the fact that it was very love letter-esque to other stuff that I enjoy, like Yu-Gi-Oh! And Jackie Chan Adventures and all of those cartoons that were of the early 2000s. And I enjoyed the voice actors that they chose. I think that definitely helped me get through the film. Would I go to a theater and see this? Absolutely not. Would I pay $2.99 on Amazon Prime like I did this morning? Sure, why not? You know, I had a couple hours free. Glad I watched it. Overall, cute film. Actually, quite good soundtracking. They did a couple pop songs that were popular at the time. I don't really count those. But the original composition stuff is really good. They start off strong, giving that classic, full movie scoring vibe to elevate what was a much simpler film. So I think I can't use the true myopia, which doesn't hold up, because this was actually the first time I ever saw it. But I'm going to watch this again in 10 years, and I'll let you know on season 20.
So, my final thoughts on this, agree very much with Matt and Daniel. Matt and Candace. You're Daniel to me, I guess.
Thank you. It's because my dick's huge.
Nick can just feel that.
Oh,
You're welcome, Daniel.
I slapped your knee, but I'm afraid of what I might find.
But my dick might be there.
No, I was going to just say, I agree with what both of you said, because part of me wishes it led just a little bit less of a lead on the show, but I like the ideas here. I like the story, I like the characters, I like where it could spend money, because sometimes the animation had much more moving parts, and sometimes it felt very like, we've got nothing left, let's just move characters across the screen. Nickelodeon has never been known much for the movie side, honestly. Recently I was incredibly, not disappointed, just meh about the Rocko's Modern Life coming back, and it was the flatness there.
Is he still going to work in his sex call center?
I mean,
that's a deep cut.
Where he works.
Yeah, that's where he works.
Today is a very dangerous day.
Oh, baby. That's how I have to start every call with Candace, otherwise she hangs. Anyway, just at the end of the day, I have less I didn't like about this than I wish they had more to do. There was a lot of good things here, but I just felt it was 1, 2, 3, 4 people who made it all work. And I just wish there was a team that would make it feel more like a movie. Because there was nothing wrong with where it started. It just felt shallow. It's a jazz band, like a jazz combo, and not a symphony. It's
a level 4 when you were wanting really a grade 6.
Bingo.
I got you.
And that's the problem. I like the parodies. I like the references. I like those little things that made it feel fuller. Do more of it. Lean into it. But I'm not going to turn it off. It wasn't bad. It was just thin. Anyway, so we're back. It's season 10. We're starting new. We're starting fresh. We have a whole bunch of surprises. Everyone on this panel has suggested movies. They'll all be here in the next 18 months, and all of them will come back for more episodes. And in fact, because you guys have been listening, we're going to start with 4 weeks of movies we did in the first 100 episodes that A, you can't access, B, you shouldn't access because we didn't know what we were doing. And so we're going to start with a choice from one of our new executive producers, Nor, as we recover a Goofy movie.
Oh,
nice.
That's a good choice.
Yeah. An episode that I believe was episode number 7 that I did with just me and my brothers literally now 9 years ago.
Also good pizza in that movie.
You know what?
Gosh.
That's a pizza episode. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Right, now this time I'll record it. We should start with that.
Exactly.
Myopia Movies is a podcast production of Dude Letter Podcasting and is produced by Nick Hoffman. It is edited by Nerdtranet and Daniel Suttis and is hosted by Nick Hoffman, with production assistance by Matthew Quinn, Daniel Suttis, and Nerdtranet. The theme song is Surf Shimmy by Kevin MacLeod from Incomptech.com. Licensed under the Creative Commons by Attribution 4 license, Creative Commons /licenses by /4.0. Thanks.